All right, Jeff. Jeff Okudah.
Yes.
Early on in the year, some flashes. I thought his best game was against Minnesota. That was really good. Press at the line of scrimmage. And he disappeared for the most part, outside of the pick six against Chicago, which was a duck throw by a running back who was playing quarterback. So, take that for what you will. Here's where I'm at with Okudah. You tell me where you're at. Okay?
All right.
No fifth-year option. He can walk away after next year. I have zero interest in moving him to safety. Tracy Walker, Deshaun Elliott, Kirby Joseph. I'm okay.
I'm with you.
He's not my corner one. I'll go in free agency and find that. He's not my corner two. Hopefully it's Joey Porter Jr. And maybe he can be the one. Who knows? And do I need him as my slot corner? No. Because I got Mike Hughes. I got Jerry Jacobs also. I have other guys. I can probably get 4 corners going into next year where I'd feel really good about them. And Jeff Okudah would be 5th on that list. I have no interest. Now, can he tackle? Can he line up in the box and support the run game? Sure. But he is fucking awful in pass coverage. He's awful at defending the pass. He's not good at it. He's never been good at it. He's never shown flashes of being good at it. And the one game he gave you flashes, it was because Tracy Walker was bracketing Justin Jefferson the entire game.
Yeah.
So they just avoided him. Oh, he shut down Devontae Smith. No, they just kept going to A.J. Brown because he was torching him. I've got no ill feelings against Jeff Okudah. I'm sure he's a great guy. We did a charity event with him, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago? No problem with him at all. Number 3 overall pick, $9 million. He can be on the team next year. He should move on. And even if he gives you a good season, what are you going to pay? Why would you pay to keep him? I've already invested $36 million by the end of next season into a corner where my fucking edge rusher has more career interceptions in 1 year than he does in 3.
Right.
To me, you move on from Jeff. Now, is he a corner on the team this year? Yeah, likely. You're not going to cut him. It's not worth the cap hit. It's not worth anything. You might as well roster him. He can be there. Hell, he can be corner 2. But I think you are going to draft a corner. I do think you're going to go out in free agency and get one. That's how I see it playing out. Now, if it doesn't and they want to put a lot of faith in him, that's their mistake. But if you're trying to improve this defense, you got to start in the interior. You got to go to the secondary, especially the corners. You need guys who can cover. You need guys where situationally, not all game, but situationally, Jeff, you can rely on to line up one-on-one and make the quarterback look another way.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not saying I need him to be Sauce Gardner. That's done. Jeff Okudah is not a top corner in the NFL. He's a bust. I think at the end of the season of next year, you move on.
And I think Brad Holmes put this perfectly because when he was asked about it at the press conference, he said he showed some good. He had some things that were not so good. But he's a really young player. I think he's still developing. Now, my problem is the contract. Because with Jeff Okudah, if you look at just the experience he's gotten this season, by the end of Week 9, Okudah played more snaps than he played in his first 2 seasons combined. So Brad kind of alluded to that. It's kind of his rookie year, if you will. Now, having injuries the first 2 seasons isn't optimistic, right? And then especially he's a little banged up this season. But for Jeff, it's not about the potential, because I get what you're saying. He struggled a lot. He played well early in the season. He kind of dropped off towards the end. It's really the money for me, because the 5th-year option for 2024, it's projected to be around $11 million. So you're paying a guy $11 million to probably be your second or third corner. To me, that's not worth it.
Revisit what you just said, though. Think about what you just said. You said Brad Holmes said Jeff Okudah was good. There's been some not so good.
Right.
It's been bad. He's a young player. Bro, it's year 3. You're going into year 4. I don't have time for I'm still a young player.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Holmes doesn't have time. And the only reason this kid hasn't gotten fucking cut, because if he was a 2nd-round pick, if he was a 3rd-round pick, if he was a 4th-round pick, he would not be on this team right now. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
If Jeff Okudah was drafted at the end of the first round, he would have been cut by now. But the reality is, you took him 3rd overall. He's got almost a $10 million figure. You're not cutting him. It just isn't worth it.
No.
The $3, $4, $5 million, whatever the number is, it's not worth it. It just isn't. Think about that. There was good, and there was some bad. And he's a young player. It's year 4. Jeff Okudah is not Brad Holmes' guy. And there's one position Brad Holmes has not drafted yet. I would say in the 1st or 2nd round. You know, I don't want to say the big time rounds, but you know, the rounds where there's obviously very good players available, right? He hasn't drafted a corner in the first 2 rounds. Now, 3rd round, 5th round, 7th round, 6th round, whatever it was with Chase Lucas, sure, fine.
Right.
No problem. But that's it. Iffy? Okay. To me, it's all about drafting a corner in the 1st round this year. And I'm telling you, reality, you like it, you don't like it, you think it's not fair, you think I'm being mean, whatever it is. Jeff Okudah, if he wasn't the 3rd overall pick, would have been cut by the Detroit Lions by now. It's that simple.
Well, I think it'd be actually, you could probably make an argument for him if he wasn't a 3rd overall pick, because if he was taken at the end of the 1st or 2nd round, I think we'd be more patient. The fact that he's a 3rd overall pick, he's getting paid. My problem is the salary, Adam. If he wasn't taken 3rd, I can make an argument he should stay. The only argument I have
Please
right
make
now.
the argument.
The only argument, no, I don't have one, because he's getting paid if you
Forget the money.
accept
Please
that.
make the argument why he should stay. What production are you getting?
Well, if you look at the position he was in this year in a bad secondary, he's your number 1 corner. I told you this. He shouldn't be. Coming off an Achilles injury, you're putting Jeff in a position, I don't want to say to fail, but that's a tough ask. In a bad secondary for Jeff coming off an Achilles injury in his first full season to guard number 1s every week, like that shouldn't be the situation he's put into. Now, we can agree, if you're drafted 3rd overall, you should be able to do that. But we've already talked about that. He was drafted too high. We can acknowledge that. But the reality is, there's no point in talking about where he was drafted. You have him now. And my problem is, if you accept that 5th-year option, it's $11 million. For a corner that's your 2nd or 3rd option, that's my problem. It's the money. I think Jeff, if he goes to another team, I think eventually he'll get to be a serviceable starter. I do believe that. I think there's a lot of potential with Jeff Okudah. Like Brad Holmes also stated in his press conference, he said, when I say basically like a rookie season, he's going to have some lumps, he said he showed some good things. He was getting extensive action for the first time, which is true. I mean, Jeff this year is his first full season. So I agree with you for where he was drafted. He's technically a bust. But I don't think that doesn't mean he can't be a productive player for the rest of his career. I don't want to pay him $11 million, because you could probably find a corner that could be your 2nd or 3rd corner.
You're not only paying him $11 million.
$6 million, $7 million.
You're not only paying him $11 million on a what if next year. You have to make a tough decision, which to me is an easy one, on whether or not you give him a 5th-year option where you're going to pay him top 10 corner money, and you're not doing that.
Oh, no.
And I don't care what he does next year. Sometimes you just got to move on from players. I don't see the upside with Jeff Okudah. I don't. Maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe I'm just being mean. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, not for 11. If you're getting paid $11 million,
and I'm not gonna go into this more than what it is, because I'm not gonna reveal more information. Jeff, you know this to be true because we were on the same conversation.
Yes.
Steve-O says people think Okudah was benched. He was injured at the end of the season. I can tell you right now that's a lie, and I can tell you right now that he wasn't getting along with Aaron Glenn. But that's where I'm gonna leave it. That is a lie. You guys can leave it there. That is a complete lie.